All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for August 10th through the 16th. My name is Athen. So I'm using a much more accurate chart now for these readings, for these weeklies and monthlies. I made a video about this last week showing that the birth chart calculator I have on my site now uses the actual size of the constellations. So before I was using a Vedic chart, which was still sidereal, still using the actual location, but not the actual size of the constellations, because some constellations are smaller, some are larger. So do check that link if you haven't already to find out what your ascendant, sun, and moon sign are. There's a link down in the description. If you are watching these videos, I do recommend them for your ascendant, as you'll likely find that to be the most accurate. You will need your time of birth for that, but if you don't know your time of birth, that's fine. You can still use the calculator, and it'll still show you your sun and moon sign. So I recommend watching both, at least until you figure out which one you lean more towards, your sun or your moon, and then watch that video. So yeah, all that will be down below. If you're new to my channel, this is using Sidereal Astrology, which is very different from your traditional Western astrology. So do check the description for that as well. All right, Aquarius, let's go ahead and look at what's going on this week for you. So essentially what we have is we have some new beginnings here involving your 7th house of relationships. This is about one-on-one connections, your 7th house. It's also about legal matters and contracts and business dealings, which can be the case for those of you involved with those types of things. But as a general gist, certainly relationships. So a new moon here. Lots of planets transiting here. You've had Mercury, so hopefully you've been communicating, learning more about relationships, exchanging quite a bit, and that has been perhaps very expressive as well, as it usually is for you, ruled by Leo. And insight coming in from others, expansion coming in from others, like possibilities, opportunities through those one-on-one connections, which has been the case for the past few months. You're reflecting on relationships right now at the moment, hopefully, and maybe even home and family is going through, home or family or anything relating to your past is going through a reflection, as well as your life path, which is completely normal, and that's what you want to do with Venus retrograde. And that new moon will be happening on Friday. So that's going to be unfolding, but the overall energy for you, your ruler is a very slow mover, Saturn, has been transiting that 9th house. So the key for you, in general, is for you to be studying, especially when it comes to philosophy or spirituality or religion, or maybe, do some adventurous things, travel. All of this, although it's a serious thing for you, it is something that will certainly assist you, and that's the overall theme for you right now at the moment. And you'll find that actually supporting your relationships. So tapping into that adventurous spirit while staying grounded is the key with that. So that's the overall theme. Let's look at the beginning of the week, Monday through Wednesday. Mars is going to be sextiling up to your North Node. So your North Node's been in the 8th house, which means the past couple years has been a opening for you to get deeper with life, to see the truth of life, to open up, to be more vulnerable, to be more transparent with your relationships and with yourself, and to maybe even communicate the truth of what's really going on in the world. So those are the kinds of things that are an opening for you this early part of the week, I would say, or at least can be, and you'll find that very motivating. Since right now Mars is debilitated in your 6th house, the health and routine stuff, it's important for you to put in that energy right now. It may or may not be coming easy to you depending on your personal chart, how Mars is aspected particularly. But what you'll find is your motivation, your drive, your ambitions will be unlocked the more you get that routine taken care of, and the more you're willing to see truth and express truth and get into what life is really about, and non-attachment and transformation, all these 8th house things. And so the early part, that'll be where you'll understand a lot more about self in general, because Mars is about our identity. Also understand more about your goals and things like that as well. So anyways, an opening there, you'll probably feel this personally as some sort of opportunity there, and I'd really recommend it. Wednesday and Thursday, the sun trines up to Uranus, so this is a week of mixing things up, particularly for you involving your values. You've had a lot of emphasis here of your 2nd house, perhaps releasing some old things relating to finances or resources or your values. All of of that's going through a sort of healing process right now at the moment. But it's all about really realizing that, finances and the material side of life isn't meant to bind you. It isn't meant to hold you down, because if you look at what like money, for example, does, it's meant for you, speaking to you Aquarians, it's meant to bring more freedom into your life so you can have more excitement, more fun, more joy, and be able to be more of service and to give more, which is all of that Aquarius energy. And let's not forget, this is your secondary ruler. So it's very much associated with what you guys are about. And so there with that, I think, the more you allow your values to change, the more you have that non-attached perspective to finances, which is just an overall theme of your life with Pisces ruling your second house, you'll find that it's actually going to be supporting. You'll probably find more freedom in your relationships. You'll probably find your values are, more in alignment with those people in your life, etc., or whatever it is for you personally. But in either case, new insight about relationships, mixing things up, tapping into that true spirit, I think will unlock a lot of this seventh house activity. Also, Wednesday and Thursday, Mercury is going to be opposing up to Neptune in your first house. So your guys' identity, who you are and all this is going through a spiritual process where it's important for you to not have everything figured out about where you're going, what your goals are even. Because Neptune here is saying, look, you're so much larger than a label. You're so much larger than some sort of mental classification of who you are. And it's so much deeper. So it's exploring that, and it's going within there. And it's a spiritual time for you guys in general for many years with Neptune in your first house. And so faith, trust that everything involving yourself and your goals and everything like that is unfolding how it should, obviously, because there's a larger plan. There's a divine plan in place, which is symbolized by Neptune, and then that will help ease maybe any uncertainty about self or about relationships or anything involving that seventh house this middle part of the week. Then we have that new moon on Friday conjoining up to Venus, so it can be some new beginnings now relating to even home and family, relating to that adventurous spirit, which are usually two very synchronized things for you. And that can also be, it's interesting because it's in the realm of relationships. So something in the relationship sphere is the overall new beginning. Again, this is all relationships, maybe even the way you view relationships, your perspective on relationships, but it's also going to create new beginnings around home, family, or the way you feel, your emotional body, your adventurous spirit, your philosophy on life, etc. So reflecting on that, the energies will be lower around this time period, around Friday. So setting intentions around that can also assist, but being open to change, especially with a retrograde Venus, be open to experimenting and trying new and different things will help that energy unfold more and more. Over the weekend, the sun conjoins up to that Venus, so it's a weekend where I think it'll be important to, it can be very nice for relationships actually. Just try not to go to any extremes with Venus retrograde, and also because Venus and the sun are very different energies, and she's going to be blocking the sun. She's in front of it, eclipsing it. So what that usually symbolizes is that Venus is very close. So it's very close to your heart right now, probably the home, family, or adventurous ninth house stuff, or philosophy and spirituality. And so express it, communicate it, especially with your one-on-one connections, but just keep it balanced, I think will be the important emphasis, which is nothing new to you. We've already had this part of the chart being squared up by Saturn. Over the weekend on Sunday, Mercury trining up to Pluto can certainly be a deep understanding of relationships, a deep understanding of truth about your one-on-one connections and about what life is really about. Mercury rules your 8th house, and about your self-expression. So you could be expressing yourself very powerfully over the weekend with your connections. But anyways, being open to change, being open to seeing the truth and communicating and expressing the truth will be further assisting all these new beginnings with your relationships. All right, Aquarius, so have a nice week. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you'd like a personal reading, click the link down below, and I'll talk to you all next time.